The Montrose Basin is a vast, almost circular inland sea. At its margins, rich habitats, mudflats and sand dunes.
And it's this stuff that makes the basin perfect for one special purpose.
Back in 1913, the Royal Flying Corps, as the RAF was first known, chose Montrose to build Britain's first ever military airfield. The all-important grass landing strip ran along here, behind the beach.
It may not look like much today, but the grass, and more importantly, the sand that was underneath it, was ideal for the primitive planes that would often come down with a bump.
The planes were built in Hampshire and took 4 days to fly here. Their arrival in Montrose was a sensation for townsfolk, most of whom had never even seen a plane.
Over a century on, and there's an incredible amount of the original airbase left. Those buildings over there, they still have the frames of World War I hangars. And these modest-looking wooden huts, well, they were the nerve centre of Squadron HQ.
Today, this airbase is a museum run by volunteers, mostly retired. At the controls is Chairman Alan Doe.
Well, Alan, here we are on the first operational airbase in Britain, if not the world. So how did it come to be here?
The land is sandy, it's well drained, so you're not going to get bogged down when you land. There's no cliffs and horrible natural obstacles around. And of course there's a town, recreation and so forth. Absolutely ideal. So number 2 Squadron was established here, doing manoeuvres in an effort to find out what could be done with aircraft. They actually flew to Ireland in their single-engine aircraft across the Irish Sea, and they were working up very capably for war. And then war did come, of course.
At the outbreak of war, number 2 Squadron reached for the sky, with skills they'd learnt here over Montrose.
From a location perspective, I mean, there's real risks here. The amount of sea that's out there, if you run into trouble and you've gone that way, I mean, there's not much chance of a safe landing.
No, there's no chance at all, and no one's going to come to your aid because you haven't got a radio. So you're down there and you hope you can perhaps ditch it by a fishing boat if they're out there at the time. But the one navigational aid was the spire of St. Cyrus Church, peeping through the mist. So you would take your bearing from that spire and then you would arrive over the airfield. And I hope land safely.
Montrose Air Base became hugely important for pilot training. And as more young men were drawn into the war in France, local women became key players on the base as engineers and ground crew. And in this hangar is something remarkable they'd undoubtedly recognise.
Goodness me, boys. This is quite a creation. How are you? Nice to see you. I can't quite believe that you've created all of this from scratch. Well, it's just absolutely beautiful to look at.
This is a replica de Havilland BE-2, one of the longest-serving planes of the Great War. My ground crew today are Brian, Andy and Jules, volunteers who've built this warbird from scratch with a little help.
The ladies have helped stitch all the ribs to the canvas. It's been varnished and all the feathering has been done as it was in 1914, we believe.
What a team effort
It's
to
not
do
been
this.
bad, actually.
Yeah, how long have you been on with it so far?
About 18 months.
Well, listen, lads, the question has to be, which one of you brave souls is going to take this up into the sky, then?
Well, it seems you're here. Would you like to be our test pilot?
Oh, God, it's just beautiful, even from the side. Look at this.
The team has allowed me to moonlight as a World War I aircraft fitter. But Brian is not playing straight.
Oh, dear. You bent that one. Not to worry. Try the next one. We'll take that one out.
That's dodgy nails. You've given me a dodgy... You did that on purpose, Brian, I know. A bit stubborn
It's
in
not
there.
easy, is it? It's
stubborn
not
in
easy.
there.
It's nearly there.
My son will be over the moon. He won't believe his eyes when he sees this. What are you going to build when it's finished?
Well, I'd like to build a jet aircraft.
It's been a privilege being here with Brian and his team on the airbase where it all began, where the first of the few learned to fly and wrote themselves into history.